All right, so get this. After like years of speculation and rumors, Happy Gilmore 2 is officially officially happening.
Yeah, what's really kind of fascinating to me is the timing of it all.
Yeah.
This isn't, just some random reboot, dropping Happy Gilmore 2 like right now.
Right.
It's interesting given both where Adam Sandler's at in his career.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, where we're at like culturally.
Yeah, what makes now the right time for Happy to, hit the green again?
Well, I mean, for starters, you look at Adam Sandler's career, and it's been this fascinating trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go back to the 90s, and it's all these, classic, like, over-the-top comedies. Right. And then more recently, he's had this string of hits on Netflix. But then you also have these, like, critically acclaimed performances like Uncut Gems. And it really seems like this sequel is kind of trying to bridge those worlds a little bit.
Yeah.
Capture that classic Sandler humor.
Yeah.
But maybe with a little more, maturity, maybe even a little self-awareness.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is you were saying that, and I was just thinking, I was watching The Tonight Show the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And even Jimmy Fallon was joking with Adam Sandler about how Happy Gilmore is basically required viewing for anyone under the age of 30.
Totally. And that's kind of the thing. It's become this generational touchstone.
Right.
Which is a powerful foundation for a sequel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you layer on top of that the fact that we're living in this, like, this nostalgia boom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything's reboots, revivals. It's everywhere you look. But with Happy Gilmore 2, it doesn't feel like they're just, riding the wave.
Right.
They're tapping into this, like, deep-seated love for the original while also promising something new.
For sure. I am so there. And you know what else has me excited? The fact that Shooter McGavin is back.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher McDonald is stepping back into those villainous shoes. And I can't wait to see how that rivalry plays out all these years later.
Oh, it's such a smart move, though.
Right.
By bringing back that core dynamic, it instantly throws you back into that Happy Gilmore world. Mm-hmm. But then what's interesting is they're also bringing in a bunch of new faces, which I think is really intriguing.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, when I heard Travis Kelce was joining the cast, I was floored.
Really?
Adam Sandler and Travis Kelce on the same screen, like, that's box office gold right there.
Oh, it's brilliant casting, though.
Right.
I mean, think about it. You got Kelce, who brings in all this, like, current sports celebrity appeal. So you're potentially drawing in a whole new audience.
Oh, right.
People who maybe weren't even alive when the original came out.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just the comedic potential. They're an NFL tight end trying to navigate the world of professional golf.
Oh, yeah.
The classic fish out of water stuff, but with that Sandler twist.
It kind of reminds me of how in the original they had Bob Barker show up.
Oh, yeah.
For that epic fight scene. It's like you never knew who was going to pop up.
Right.
Sadly, though, we won't be seeing Carl Weathers make a return as Chubbs.
See, now that one hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, Chubbs was such an iconic character in the original.
He was.
And Carl Weathers brought a certain gravitas to the role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how the sequel addresses his absence.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to pay tribute to him in some way? Will Happy have, like, a new mentor figure?
Right.
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so we've got but what about what's the actual story going to be about? The anticipation is killing me.
I know, and plot details, they're keeping them completely under wraps. But I will say this. I've been doing a little digging, and there's a lot of buzz about some of the other actors joining the cast.
Okay.
Margaret Qualley, for instance.
Oh, wow.
She's reportedly taking on a role.
Okay.
And the word on the street is it's not just a quick cameo.
Now, that is interesting.
Right.
Because Margaret Qualley, she's known for some pretty intense, dramatic roles.
Exactly.
So to see her in a Sandler comedy, it's a little bit of a curveball.
For sure. But think about it. She's a phenomenal actress.
Right.
I mean, you think back to her performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
To see her flex her comedic muscles alongside Sandler, oh, man.
That's going to be good.
It's going to be something else. And she's not the only one.
Okay.
The sequel also features musician Bad Bunny.
Oh, wow.
And filmmaker Benny Safdie.
Okay.
Who co-directed Uncut Gems.
Right.
So it seems like Sandler's bringing in this really interesting mix of familiar faces.
Right.
And then just like unexpected talent.
Yeah.
Which I think could create some really fun dynamics on screen.
For sure. It really is, though. It's like he's creating his own little cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But with, a lot more laughs and probably a lot more golf balls being hit into the parking lot.
Way more golf balls hit into the parking lot. And speaking of unexpected talent, who's back as an executive producer for the sequel, Dennis Dugan.
Oh,
the
wow.
guy who directed the original Happy Gilmore.
Interesting.
So it seems like they're really trying to like honor the spirit of the original while also, pushing things forward a little bit.
Yeah, and you can't deny the impact that the original Happy Gilmore had.
Oh, absolutely
I
not.
mean, it was such a product of its time, and yet those characters, those jokes,
Yeah,
it really does stand the test of time.
totally. And I think that's because while humor, evolves and changes over time, those core elements like at the heart of it,
Yeah.
the relatable characters, the sheer absurdity of it, all those things are timeless.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Okay, but let's get back to the sequel, though, because we've talked about, the casting and all these cameos
Right.
and Adam Sandler's career and everything, but I really want to know, like, what is the story going to be about?
I know, me too. And again, they're keeping it so under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
But, one of the theories is that it picks up, years later.
Okay.
Happy's older now. Maybe he's even got like kids of his own.
Oh, man. Happy Gilmore as a dad.
Right.
That's like comedic gold right there.
Oh, totally.
I could already see him like trying to teach his kid like the Happy Gilmore swing, like at some like stuffy country club.
Oh, 100%. Much to the, chagrin of like the, whatever golf pro is trying to teach proper form.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And think about that for a second, like the emotional arc of that. Because Happy always struggled with like anger management and channeling his emotions.
Totally.
And what if like fatherhood is the thing that finally forces him to like grow up a little bit?
Right.
To
your role model.
You're a role model for his kid.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little choked up thinking about like Happy Gilmore, teaching his kid life lessons on the golf course. But I also like the idea that, he's facing these whole new challenges.
Okay.
Like maybe he's retired from pro golf, but then something pulls him back in
Okay.
for like one last shot at glory.
I like this. So there's like a hotshot young golfer
Right.
who reminds Happy a little too much of himself.
Right.
And he's forced to kind of confront his past, his demons,
Right.
But then at the same time, he's also trying to prove like I can still do this.
And you just know Shooter McGavin is going to be there too.
Oh, lurking in the background, just like
Yeah.
waiting for the Happy to just completely self-destruct.
This is good. This is really good.
All right.
I'm getting pumped up for this.
I know, me too.
No.
And I think, whatever the storyline is, the key is going to be balancing that nostalgia
Right.
with like a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
You want to give the fans what they loved about the original,
Yeah.
but you also want to offer something new and unexpected.
Right. It can't just be like a rehash with a fresh coat of paint.
Exactly.
But with this cast, with Adam Sandler's track record with Netflix, I have a feeling they're going to knock this one out of the park.
Me too. It really does feel like Sandler has found his like perfect creative outlet with Netflix.
Yeah.
They give him the freedom to explore these projects that are clearly like near and dear to his heart.
Right.
And he delivers like genuinely entertaining films.
He does. Yeah, it really does feel like a match made in like, Hollywood heaven or something.
Right.
Like Netflix gets their, guaranteed hit and Adam Sandler gets to make the movies he wants to make with, whoever he wants to make them with.
It's a win-win. And speaking of people, Sandler wants to work with, who's directing the sequel, Kyle Newacek.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's best known for like Workaholics,
Okay.
that Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
Which if you haven't seen it, hilarious.
Okay.
Very different kind of comedy though.
Interesting. So you've got this director known for this like kind of like edgy, offbeat humor, and he's taking on this like, beloved 90s comedy. Like, is that going to work?
I mean, that's the $1,000,000 question, right?
Yeah.
But I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before about that like balancing act between nostalgia and reinvention, right? You want it to feel familiar.
Right.
But it also needs to have its own identity, its own energy.
Right.
And maybe bringing in a director who's got this totally fresh perspective.
Right.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. And, for all the like speculation and the rumors and everything, it's kind of nice to just like take a step back for a second.
Yeah.
And just focus on like the facts. Like, what do we know?
Yeah.
For sure. We know that production officially began on September 9th.
Okay.
Which, fun fact, also happens to be Adam Sandler's birthday.
Oh, wow. Talk about a birthday present.
Oh, no, right?
Happy birthday to me.
Filming is taking place in New Jersey, and there have already been some like fun little behind-the-scenes glimpses like popping up online.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Remember that picture of Adam Sandler's dog, Bagel? like sprawled out on a copy of the script.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it wasn't just any script. It had like bagel printed on it.
Like, come on.
Which tells me that like Adam Sandler's not just, showing up, like phoning it in. Like,
Yay.
he's having fun with this.
That's awesome.
Which makes me think like, it's going to be a fun movie.
Yeah, for sure.
If the people making it are having fun.
Yeah, you can tell. You can totally tell. And he even gave like a shout out to the movie.
Did he really?
Yeah, on the Manning cast recently.
Okay.
He was telling Peyton and Eli, how much he was enjoying being back on set.
That's awesome.
Which, for someone who's usually so private about his projects, while he's filming them,
right.
I feel like it's a good sign.
He seems like genuinely stoked about this.
Yeah, I think he is.
So, okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the cast, the rumors, the potential storylines.
Right.
For you, what's the one thing you are most excited about for Happy Gilmore 2?
For me, honestly, it's the potential for reinvention. Like, can Happy Gilmore capture that magic of the original while still feeling fresh and relevant, for today's audience?
Yeah.
It's a tall order.
It is.
But I think the payoff could be huge.
It could be. And it's funny you should say that because that's what I find so fascinating about this whole thing.
Yeah.
This isn't just a movie. This is like a whole cultural event.
It is.
Like, it's a conversation about nostalgia. It's a conversation about Adam Sandler's career. It's a conversation about, like, how we connect to, like, these movies, these characters that meant so much to us growing up.
Totally. And it really is a testament to the power of a good story. A character that we can root for even when he's like hitting golf balls into parking lots and fighting like elderly game show hosts.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
So there you have it, folks. Happy Gilmore 2. The sequel, nobody knew they needed.
Right.
But now suddenly everybody's hyped about.
Exactly.
Who knows what surprises await us, but one thing's for sure. It's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, maybe this time Happy will finally get that gold jacket.
Maybe so.
Although, knowing Happy, he'd probably just trade it for a hockey stick anyway.
Probably.
Thanks for listening.